Hey, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Suzette Speaks show right here on YouTube. I am your hostess with the mostest, Suzette Speaks. I'm here talking money with you today. We are going to have a series of guests that are experts when it comes to money, and one of them is going to be K Business Podcast. K Business Podcast is my special guest tonight. He has his own YouTube channel where he talks all things money. And tonight I've asked him to come aboard and share his wisdom with us in terms of government contracts. If you are a small business, if you ever thought about getting into business, one of the ways many small businesses become large businesses is doing business with the federal government or the state government or the local government for that matter. No matter who you are, and I'm thinking federal right now, no matter who you are, there are always opportunities for your business to grow. But sometimes we just don't know how. Sometimes we don't know where to begin. So we're going to take you step by step today, talking with my special guest to understand a little bit more about the process. But before we begin, I want to say welcome to you. If you're watching for the first time, please hit the like button. I am Suzette Speaks, TV host and attorney from Miami, Florida. And I love bringing you interesting topics through conversation here on YouTube, or if you're watching on Facebook, please hit the like button to show your support. And again, tonight we are talking business. I have a few great shows. Let me plug them real quick before we get into tonight's conversation. I have a show coming up Saturday where I'm going to be, for the first time, hit the like button, y'all, for the first time talking about a TV show, actually a Netflix show that I have enjoyed so very much. I'm talking about the Ozarks. If you guys watch Ozark, I'm going to give you my reaction to season 4. This Saturday is my first time doing any type of television roundtable reaction. So Saturday, we're going to talk a little Ozarks. Next Monday, I have Boss Attorney Bree coming in. Boss Attorney Bree is also a YouTuber, and we're going to talk about men who are survivors of domestic violence. And a lot of the discussions we've had in the last several weeks with celebrity chit chat when it comes to, what happened with Will Smith, what happened or what is going on right now currently with Johnny Depp and others. I think the beauty of what's happening, because there's so much negativity around it, is that there's some real lessons that are being highlighted. And one of them is that there are men who suffer from domestic violence and all kinds of unhealthy home lives as well. So Boss Attorney Bree, my fellow lady lawyer, my fellow sister in law, will be here next Monday to help me do some heavy lifting. And then I'll have Intentional Millionaire coming on. We're going to be talking about the side hustles that can make you some more money, how to make a little extra money. So last week we did a lot of health, talking about our wellness in terms of our food as well as our exercise. But this week we are kicking off some money conversations and some deeper conversations as the week progresses. So hit the like button, y'all. Come on in. I'm not going to tarry. He's a dad. He has a life. He has so much to do. But as you see on your screen, my special guest, I hope you will go check him out and subscribe, is K Business Podcast. Tonight, we are going to be talking about how to obtain government contracts. There are several of you who messaged me or wrote comments, was like, I want to watch this replay. I need to learn. Is this going to be recorded? Of course, you can always watch it on YouTube here later. And if you're watching on replay right now, welcome, Team Replay. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're taking time out to join us as we talk about government contracts. So before we get started, I want y'all to know, although I am an attorney in the state of Florida, I'm not rendering any legal advice tonight. So quick disclaimer. Also for Mr. K Business Podcast, this is for informational purposes only. If you have specific questions, you should obviously, not always obviously, but you should definitely go and speak to a professional one-on-one, especially if you have a legal issue or legal matter. It cannot be addressed or diagnosed, or any information cannot be disseminated vis-a-vis this platform. That's not what it's intended for. All right. So be careful, and viewer discretion is advised. We are only here for entertainment and educational purposes with the information that we share today. Are you guys getting ready to come through? Hit the like button. Let me know you're watching. I think RM was first. Hey, RM, nice to see you. Big up, Jackie. Haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Glad you're here. Sometimes I know we all get super busy. I see everybody in the chat. Hey, everybody. Hey, Doug. Hey, Sunbreeze. Hey, Ace. It's great to see you. So without further ado, my guest is on a time limit today, so we're going to bring him up. So please give a warm Suzette Speaks show. Welcome to none other than K Business Podcast. Hey, Kay.
Hey, how you doing? Good evening. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here. I'm glad you said yes. Hey.
Thank you.
How you feeling? You doing all right?
I'm doing all right. You have a wonderful show. Love your
Thank
show.
you. I appreciate that, brother. So
Yes,
it's about
ma'am.
you tonight, and I'm grateful that you're here to share your wealth of knowledge with the people. So
Yes.
before we start the conversation, can you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Kay. I have a YouTube channel called K Business Podcast. I work in the human services field. I have my own consulting and training business that I do on the side. So I work for a company. I manage about 20 residential sites and almost 100 employees. But I started my business in 2017 after just going through some challenges at work, and I said, you know what, let me start my own training business after I was turned down from other opportunities at my job. So that's why decided to start my own business. But today we're going to talk about contracts.
I love it. I'm excited that you're here. I was taking my sip of tea. Y'all know I need a little ginger tea every now and then. I did a lot of talking today, so hopefully it doesn't show up. Sometimes they can tell I'm a little hoarse. But grateful that you're here. So you have a personal testimony, basically going out on your own and starting
Yes,
your own consulting business.
correct.
So how did you manage during COVID? Is this something you have done as far as getting a contract with the government in
Yes.
any way? So tell us a
um
little bit about your ups and downs as a business owner.
so when I first started my business, I used to travel around the country to train multiple providers in case management. And during the COVID, nobody was allowed to travel, so I started doing my trainings via Zoom. But how I came across government contracts was somebody noticed that I post a lot of my content on Instagram, so they reached out to me, and she was like, "Man, you post a lot. You have a business. Let me show you how to get government contracts." I'm like, "Sure."
Wow.
So she was like, "Well, it's going to cost $3,000 for my course." I'm like, $3,000? I don't have $3,000, but I decided to do my own research. So I began to check I live in the state of Maryland. So I began to check the state of Maryland. And that's when I began to read on different types of government contracts out there. I applied for about 3 to 4 of them. I was able to secure 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was able to see, which I still have the contract currently.
For your consulting business?
Correct. Correct. So I work in human services. So I do a lot of home visits. I worked in social services previously.
Mm,
So I have that background when in the foster care system. So the government contract that was issued, they needed an investigator to go out to visit guardianship cases. And you're an attorney, so you know about
yes.
guardianship cases. It could be adults or children. So I was able to win that because of the background of my what I used to do previously. So
Mm,
that's how I was able to secure a government contract. So I always speak on this at my channel that a lot of what's it called, state government have funding set aside for minority businesses
yes,
to apply for. Do you know there are times where a lot of small businesses don't even know these contracts are available?
exactly.
And the biggest complaint from some of these procurement officers are nobody applies for them.
It's kind of like, where there's a lack of knowledge, the people perish. And then, we're
Correct.
swimming upstream, we're struggling. We expect to make money among our friends and family. That's not
Hmm.
where the money is going to be made. But we're talking now about like sustainable dollars, things where I know, especially coming out myself
Hmm.
in law. month to month, it can be very unpredictable. But once you have something stable like a government contract, you can
Mm-hmm.
start to plan not only like quarterly but yearly in
Mm-hmm.
terms of your business forecasting
Correct.
in different areas of growth. But without
Correct.
that solid um, base, that solid foundation to start with, oftentimes many uh, small businesses flounder. And what I think, we think loan before we think contract for some reason. I think a lot of
Exactly.
times we want to borrow the money
Mm-hmm.
instead of positioning ourselves, depending on your size and depending on whether you're ready,
Mm-hmm.
but positioning ourselves to get a contract so that we are paying ourselves instead of borrowing to pay ourselves. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think about that? Why do you think sometimes we want to borrow our way into business initially? Some of us.
I guess people are just so desperate to leave their jobs,
Mm,
so they need to get loans to get the business started. I didn't use any business loans. I funded the business myself. The capital was very small. I didn't really need a lot of capital. I just need
right.
capital for travel and to pay for my equipment, like my laptop, my stuff like that. So you don't. Some businesses do need a large capital. So some of them are not going to wait for government contracts. And when it
Right.
comes to government contracts, it's very competitive.
Hmm.
Here's the thing: it could be you and 20 others bidding for just one contract. But there's some contracts that will actually give funding to 3 to 5 businesses. A contract can be worth
Split,
almost. Hmm?
or if there sometimes are requirements around women and
Correct.
minority owned
Minority-owned
businesses. Yeah.
businesses, women. What else? I think they have one for LGBT.
Yeah.
So there's all multiple types of contracts for everybody.
Exactly. So
You just have to research and you just have to find them.
yeah, I think some people don't think they're going to qualify off top. I see you, sure known says, I have access to government contracts, but I have a hard time getting through the paperwork. It can be intimidating to apply
Yes.
because there's a lot, and we're going to get into it. Sometimes you're looking at the paperwork and you're like, oh my gosh, I can barely, rewrite and spell, but it's important that you try.
Now,
I hear you though. This is a common response I've
mhm.
seen many. So important question. Kimo Wagwan says, Doug, make sure. Oh no, sorry, one pill of the wrong comment, Kimo. I thought you asked what he meant by human services. That's the one I
Okay.
meant.
Human services is
Wrong comment, but please answer that. Some
human
people were
services providing
asking.
services to people in the community,
Mm,
children, adults, homeless population, people with disabilities, people with addictions, uh, mothers and children, shelters, anything that has to do with services to give to a certain population.
a
And
human
services can,
being, human
yeah,
service. Yeah,
services can include
yeah.
legal
Hmm.
services, therapy, transportation, food, housing, utilities, any type of services for people in the community. Yeah, so that's what human services is.
Got it. All
Yeah,
right. So y'all
like
go over.
social work, kind of.
Yes, social work for sure. When you're
Hmm.
actually helping human beings fulfill their needs, their
Correct.
general needs,
Correct.
you are going to deal face to face with another human being. That's human services,
Hmm.
right? So again, we're here talking government contracts. This gentleman, K Business Podcast, is a fantastic YouTuber, talks a lot of money, and tonight he's going to share some of his personal experience, kind of going through the process and giving us a lay of the land, the steps, the pitfalls people need to
Hmm.
avoid. Yeah, so some times folks again get overwhelmed by
Hmm.
the paperwork. That's number one. So how did you decide? Oh, sorry, was you a sorry? Yes, so we just defined what line of work and what kind of company he owns. So it's only you. It's you, or do you hire people?
For my company,
Yeah.
I before COVID, I had contractors, especially
People who worked for you.
for me,
Oh
yes.
wow. Hmm.
People, especially I had people with social media backgrounds and marketing backgrounds to help me market my services.
Okay, so
Um,
non-employee. So
yeah,
1099
1099
contractors. I
employees,
get what you're
yeah,
saying. Okay, yep,
contractors, yeah.
yep, yep, yep.
So those are the ones that I hired for my
Okay.
company. Yeah.
Got you. And shout out to Andrew Walker, Wagwan NYC in the building. This is very informative. Keep it up, Suzette. Thank you. Appreciate the love. So it's easier when you have a business like K's,
Mm-hmm.
which has low overhead. You don't need
Mm-hmm.
a building. You don't need much equipment. You don't
Nope.
need uniforms. You don't need to
Nope.
buy food. You don't need to buy
Nope.
this. So when people, it's just like, to me, the investment in like an MBA, you really
Mm-hmm.
have to look and see, is this a skill that is, transferable? Am I going to be able to learn this on a job? What is it going to cost me is really what I
Mm-hmm.
want to get to. Because a lot of
Absolutely.
people, when they formulate companies, they think it's something, oh, they love, maybe a hobby or something that they want to formalize into a business. But you got to be very careful and very strategic. Yes, that you enjoy it, but
Mm-hmm.
be that there's a market for it, and that it's
Absolutely.
not going to cost you a lot
Mm-hmm.
to start it. That means it has the terminology is a low barrier to entry.
Mm-hmm.
So
Correct.
the easiest way to start this, notice he didn't have any employees that worked directly for the company except himself. He hired out, he contracted other
Correct.
people on an as needed basis. They pay their
Correct.
own taxes and they work at will. So that was an easy way. I just want to kind of paint the picture because everybody is
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily a business person and maybe thinking about, well, I can, fill in the blank, a human service. Yeah, I can provide some kind of human service. But what would it be and how would I formalize that? So take me quickly through the steps of, first and foremost, you formulating a business. Is your business in Maryland?
Correct.
Give
So
me
what I
a
formed,
rundown. Yeah.
yeah, what I formed was the LLC. So I, formed it, got my business license, got my EIN number, got my bank account, got business insurance, got a website, did the social media, Facebook, Instagram, did all the good stuff. So
So
that's the first thing
quick and
everybody
dirty,
wants to.
y'all. So most people are saying, what is all that? You're going to watch this channel to get some more. But you have to have, when we talk about contracts, I say that or brought that up to say everything has to be legit. You
Hmm.
cannot, first of all, apply for anything without having your paperwork in place. So making
Absolutely.
sure that your company is actually a company, that it's registered,
Hmm.
that if that type of industry requires a license in your state,
Hmm.
that you've applied through the state or the city or whoever does the regulatory.
Mostly the state. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the times it's the state, but sometimes you do have local regulations
Correct.
occasionally. And
Hmm.
then you want to make sure you have your tax ID number. You
Hmm.
want to make sure you have a bank account in the business name, not yours,
Yes.
right? We don't want to
Yeah.
get in problems. And then obviously we're going to then start to market and hold ourselves out as a company. But again, the
Hmm.
point I'm trying to make is we can't put the cart before the horse. We're only talking about people who have, legitimate filed
Hmm.
on record businesses, right? So first and
Yeah.
foremost, it has to be legitimized, no under the table.
Hmm.
Okay. So you have your business. So you immediately start to get clients on your own by yourself. Is that
Yeah,
how it
I was
started
I
for
was
you?
getting clients. I was doing a lot of traffic to my website, and I was getting traffics from various agencies, various businesses all over the country. When I first started this business, I had the idea, and at first I was discouraged because nobody was reaching out, nobody was emailing, phone calls, and I said, "Man, this business sucks, man. Ain't nobody nobody wants to see this business." Then
Been there.
then a month later, this lady from DC just called me and said, "Hi, I need training for 3 of my staff." I'm like, "What? Okay." She said, "How much does it cost?" I was like, $20. She said, "Oh, that's even cheap. That's even great." Got that training out the way. So where I really messed up was, and this is one thing I also find out, what I
Mm-hmm.
found out, right, was a lot of companies they have funds set aside for professional development because my
Yes.
training will be considered professional development.
Yes.
And my first year, one of the mistakes I made was a lady called me. She was like, "I have 12 of my staff to be trained. How much do you charge per person?" And then I just started. So I said $20 per person.
Oh
She
Lord.
said, "Man, we have almost $7,000 to spend this year, and we're trying to spend it at once. And you giving me a $20 invoice per person?" She said, "I'll call you back." And that's when I learned that, you know what?
Ah! Mistake number one.
Exactly. From there, I start to
Well, first
really
your first question. So, what's your budget?
exactly,
That's a
exactly, and
nice
that
way
that
of
was
saying how much money you got to spend, so I can understand where I
mhm.
should price myself.
Yeah,
And it
exactly.
happens, especially young attorneys, all of us, different industries. You underestimate or you try to price low. I can tell you a couple doctors I know, same type of deal. They were
Mhm.
coming out, and obviously the market is competitive, and they felt they had to go much lower
Mhm.
for eye exams, certain kind of procedures. And I'm like, don't do it. Because people are
Exactly.
used to paying, say, $50. Yes, you're offering it for what, 20, for example.
Mhm.
But you're shooting yourself in the foot.
I was. I
Like,
was.
so did she allow you to come back with a second price, or she just didn't?
No way. She went somewhere else.
She like, they
But
don't
guess
know what
what?
they doing. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. Hang up. Next.
But what happened was each year I began to increase my price as I began to see that the market needs this type of training. And now I send an invoice of five, 10,000, 15,000, twenty thousand
And they
dollars.
pay it.
Man, they don't even argue. They just
Eyes
pay it.
closed. It's amazing what especially larger companies and
Mhm.
governmental entities have to spend on what you're talking about. A
Absolutely.
lot of people don't see it as a viable, or don't know about it as a viable business.
Mhm.
But when you get into, yeah, sure, no, like $20.
Exactly.
No,
I
we
know.
we
I
was
know.
nervous. We came out. We didn't know what we was doing. Everybody has this growing pain, and I
Correct.
agree with you, especially when you're going out into the market on your own. It
Mhm.
takes a few months for people to even recognize and put
Correct.
you at top of mind when they think about that service. So your
Mhm.
phone might not ring. You might feel like, oh my gosh, this isn't working. Now, if it's more than like a year, you might want to pause, check the market
Mhm. That's what I
environment,
did.
make sure you're in the right space at the right time. But I'm talking about like 2, 3 months for you to even get a phone call. And
Mhm.
those are nerve-wracking months.
Yes.
So you want to make sure you are, gauging it, and kind of every couple months, are more people call me or less? Did I do something different? And if
Mhm.
I did, what was it? So I know it works. Ace
Correct.
asks, how much years or how many years of work experience did Kay have before he started using outsourcing staff?
I started in 2010, and I started my business in 2017. So it's about 7 years
Okay.
into the field.
Okay,
You know,
perfect. So about 7 years of experience. That sounds
correct.
right about right. The people start getting the itch.
Correct.
So
Correct.
you go out there, you do, a couple of fumbles. We all
Yeah.
gonna do it because we're new.
Mhm.
No one necessarily to mentor. And I was gonna ask you about that. So how did you figure it out?
Well, I begin to do. Somebody said you have to do price of research, so I begin to look at other competitors that do the same thing I do, right? But they were clinical. I was more of non-clinical, and they were charging $3,000 per person. I'm like, oh my god, I'm losing. So I increased my prices again.
You like, so what you went up from? You went up from 20 to what
I went
initially?
up from 20 to 50, from 50 to 150, 150 to 250, then 250 to now is 425 across the board.
Hey, hey. So did that increase come with wisdom or confidence or experience
It
or years?
it
Tell
came
me.
with all wisdom, experience, confidence. Because what really worked for me is every time I do a training in person, I take pictures.
Mm.
I put it on social media. I show my work. So when people go to my website and they see, oh wow, okay, this guy has been doing this business for
He
three,
working.
4 years, we can trust him. So
Yes.
they wouldn't have a problem with paying.
Wow. So keeping an up to date website and social
Yep,
media so that
absolutely.
people can see, is she still doing that? Is he still doing that? I don't know. Because that's a lot of money that people have to entrust in you. So
Hmm.
tell us how you got this first government contract. Let's go.
Oh
So
yeah.
somebody called you out of the blue.
Well, somebody just reached out to me and was like, "Look, I teach people how to find government contracts." I didn't have a clue what government contracts was, and she was like, "I can show you." So she was showing it to me. Then she was like, "Well, I can show you more, but it's going to cost you $3,000." And I'm like, "I don't have $3,000. If I had a $3,000, it's for the business." So I decided to do my own research, looking around, and I came to a um, marketplace for the state where
Mm-hmm.
all the government contracts are listed, local and county, city, and the state website. So I just seen a contract in my field, in my industry, and I had my business plan. So most of the information on my business plan, I put it on the proposal. I attached my resume, my experience, my business license, everything about my business was put together in a proposal. It's about 20 to about 22 pages, and I submitted. So after I submitted it, they reached out to me and they wanted to interview me, a panel interview. So I got that done. Then I was awarded. I just seen the award letter, and I got most of the funding. It was 3 companies that was awarded, and I got most of the funding because of my experience. So that's how
Yep.
I got my first
I'm
contract.
sorry. I always mute because I be moving around after I put you on.
Okay.
So I'm muting, and I'm like talking. I'm like, dang, he can't hear me. Welcome everybody. If you're just joining, come on in, hit the like button as you come in. Suzette Speaks here. I'm here with my special guest and YouTuber K Business Podcast. Go check out his channel. He's given us his personal story about how he started his own consulting business and won his first government contract. So, long story short, if you're just joining, he got an inbox. Sounds like a LinkedIn to me, but somebody writing, I can do this for your business. Oh, great. You can? How much? 3,000. So you see, they're not afraid of pricing. And if you're afraid of pricing, again, go ahead and do your research. Just a simple, not simple, but Google search can help you understand what others in the market are charging. So he does that. He's like, I can't pay this lady 3,000, but I start to research on my own. And what I love is that you're highlighting that most government contracts are public record. I'm talking about the school boards, the counties, the cities, the state. Most of them
The
are
universities, colleges and
Yeah, go ahead.
universities,
Absolutely.
they issue contracts. Like, for example, if they need lawn care for the campus, they put it out there and you bid. And if you have a lawn care company and you win, the contract is yours. Some contracts could be 1 day, some contracts could be 5 years. Some contracts could be 10,000, some could be almost as much as 5 million.
Listen, that when you get that first contract, you almost want to like scream because you're like, I got taxpayer dollars. Yeah.
Man, I am obsessed. When you say obsessed, every day I check that marketplace. It's
Looking
like
for contracts every single day.
every
But
single
now
day.
that first one, it almost feels like, oh my gosh, the nerves. Am I ready for it? They have certain guidelines that you have to meet, and you have to fill out some updated paperwork or get reviewed and all that. Make sure you delivered. But as long as you're doing what
Correct.
is done. And I think about some of these construction contracts. Think about the people that get the construction contracts and the roads take 10 years longer than what they say. So there's always leeway. Sometimes people are afraid because they think, well, what if I can't do it in that year? Or depending on the service that you're delivering, of course.
Well, if people can't do it in that year, you subcontract.
Exactly. There are ways. You use
Yeah,
some of
there
the
are
money
ways.
you got and say,
Exactly.
okay, I need help. I can't do it by myself, et cetera, et cetera. So Kay says he can start a separate business on business development and mentorship. I'm sure. Yeah, he has a lot of great points already. Absolutely. Y'all go check out K Business Podcast.
People
Because
do reach out to me often.
Oh, people reach out directly. Okay, I didn't tell them
they
to do that, but since you said it,
So,
that's cool. So you'll go through websites for the institutions that have possible contracts that align with your business first and foremost.
correct. Yes.
So you looked on a local government site or a state site first?
We have a state marketplace. So I had to register. I had to get a DUNS number. Duns and Bradstreet. Yeah, that's your company.
I forgot about all of this. The DUNS number.
Yeah.
No one. It's like that's like a secret. Y'all welcome. That's like a insider trading things. I don't know why they just don't tell people, but to do business, federal contracts, you have to have a DUNS number. Briefly, how does one get a DUNS number?
I'll just go to their website and put in the name of your business. It's free. Don't pay for the subscription. Just get the DUNS number. That's it. It's free.
I remember.
And that's how you use it. You use that for I use that for the state website because you needed one.
The application process. That's how people identify who you are.
Correct. To
see, so you need a DUNS number. I forgot about this. I went through it. I didn't go all the way through it with legal. I was like, let me try to get some of this money. Yeah. But it's so funny. My ship switched directions at the time. But I got an interview. Did you have an interview?
For the DUNS?
No, for the contract.
Yeah. I had to interview.
All right. So step 1, apply for your DUNS number. Step 2.
Once I registered, I found the contract that I like. I turned in a proposal, but you have to read what the government, each agency do. They have a procurement officer, right? So they will issue out a RFP. So this is a document that you have to read. Some of these documents are 100 pages.
Long.
If you don't like to read, just then this is not for you.
But you
You
gotta
know,
read it. You
you
gotta
gotta
read it.
read. You gotta read the
Yes.
state requirements. You gotta read the requirements that this is what they want. This is what they're looking for. This is what your business. Your business have to be in good standing with the state. That means you've paid your annual filing. You
Yes.
know, that's important. You know, every state you have to pay your annual filing, so you got to be in good standing first. Then just type away. Type your proposal.
So the RFP is telling you what it is that the
Mhm.
governmental entity wants.
Once, correct.
And it's long. It can be like 20 pages, it can be like 100 pages,
Mhm.
depending on what service or
Or
you're
goods. Mhm.
delivering. Yeah.
Correct.
So the complexity depends. So you read it to make sure over the next 18 months they want phone service
Mhm.
for 10 offices. I'm thinking IT. We have a lot of IT people watch this as well.
Mhm.
Or fill in the blank. Food for, I don't know, I'm thinking like the army,
For the school,
for the
the prison.
school, prisons, you name
Mhm.
it. You make cookies, you make
Oh,
cupcakes. If you even make one thing, bro, you can get a government contract. Sometimes
yes.
people think, go ahead, please fill
Man,
in what.
even if you're a barber, they
Yes.
the
And ain't
the
no even if.
juvenile
Shout out to my
justice.
barber.
Oh God, man.
The
Suzette,
most basic.
if
I tell people, yeah, go ahead.
if you give me 20 minutes, I can just run my mouth on this live. We will not get off. But I gotta play nice.
Yeah.
Um during the COVID, I seen this contract. They need a moving company to move one from one courthouse to another courthouse, $20,000 for one day. That was it. So if somebody had
twenty
to
thousand
move
dollars for one. I would have got a truck myself to move everything from one courthouse to another for
one
20 grand.
courthouse to the next courthouse, then I seen another one. We have 20, okay, we have 26 jurisdictions, counties in Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
and the courthouses, circuit courts and district courts needed a cleaning company, right?
That's the
To
number
clean
one thing
all
I see.
courthouses.
Yeah.
And this company got the contract. It was almost $20 million to clean all 26 jurisdictions.
This is okay. I'm gonna keep my political views out of here because
Those are the contracts I was seeing. I was just like, wow.
it make you want to start a cleaning business. It
I'm
make you
telling
want to
you.
start, or if you don't get it, to become a subcontractor of, because you know
Exactly.
they're not doing it. They
Most
farming
likely,
it out.
most likely they subcontracted to many cleaning companies around the
The
county.
area, so everybody
Mhm.
eats.
Everybody eats.
This is why relationships are so important. I just want to say, when people talk about social programs and
Mhm.
welfare,
No.
this is what many may characterize by the term, with the term, corporate welfare,
Mhm.
right? So this is you and I, taxpayer money. We pay taxes every time we swipe our debit card in the
Mhm.
US, every time we buy something, from tolls to driving to gas tax to property taxes.
Mhm.
All of our taxes are collected by the local government, the state government, and the
Mhm.
federal government to be spent on our behalf, the people
Mhm.
of fill in the state of Maryland, state of Florida.
Mhm.
So, in distributing back that monies, they are creating, contracts so that people can deliver the services that the citizens need. So
Mhm.
we have to think about in terms of, from like he's saying, the schoolhouse, from the barber shop
Mhm.
to, you can think of it. I had a lady one time, I was in a business class that made cookies, and we're like, ma'am, you don't need to make anything else. You just need to make sure, again, whatever licensing, I think for her like baking facility, they had to do like an inspection.
Of course, she
So I
needs a
think that was
mhm.
regulated by the county. So she had
Correct.
to make sure her facility met county standards, because the
She
counties
need a food
are the,
license.
yes, that
Yeah.
give food licenses. And we're like, ma'am, and I've seen other entrepreneurs who, I can tell you so many stories. Like, again, some people, for me, some people, okay, we can have a whole nother conversation on this. They feel like in business or with a company, they have to do what they love. But other people can do anything and do it well because they
Mhm.
know the money's coming behind it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're
Some
saying.
people want to be like, but I don't love it. Who cares?
Mhm.
If you're getting a $20 million, in his example, cleaning contract,
Mhm.
baby, you don't have to do nothing but, execute on that contract. You could
That's
then
it.
take your payment and go do what you love.
Mhm.
Come see me. Come to Miami and we go on a yacht and chill. So I think there's different philosophies that I
Mhm.
just want to point out as to why I think sometimes people stay on the sidelines because they think they gotta love it or that they don't have that exact skill. But
Mhm.
I've heard people put it like this way. I had a school board member locally. She is actually now she's in the Florida Senate. She used to say, I don't review a procurement, which is like the bidding process
Mhm.
where the people have put out the RFP, put out the offer. She was
Mhm.
like, if there is no minority and there's no women among the
Mhm.
possible candidates, I'm not reviewing it. And
Yep.
she did. She'd be like, why are there no minorities? Put it back out there until I get some.
Yeah.
And so, as Kay said, it's so difficult to
Yes.
find sometimes. Go ahead.
I was sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
get so energetic when I'm talking about this. So don't when
Yes.
I cut you off, I'm
No,
not
no, no. It's
disrespectful.
love. It's love. I don't feel no type
I
of
met
way.
this guy, procurement officer. The guy is an Indian. He tells me all the time that they will put out a contract. They'll put out uh, a government contract, and nobody. And this is it's only for minorities, and nobody will bid for it. And then his boss will say, "Put it back out again." So if you see a contract that's out more than twice, that
Yeah.
means nobody bid for it.
Jesus.
Nobody.
I used to listen to her and I'm like
It's
listening to you
true.
now.
She's telling the truth.
The
I've
Miss
seen
Creator said,
contracts that
"What?
come out.
I will scrub no toilet, mop no floor." And you know what's funny? Some of them get them good big old contract, and all they doing is running a little duster, empty the trash, and maybe spraying some disinfectant every now and then. They're not really cleaning like that. Maybe vacuum once a week and
And
whatnot.
that contract I just talked about, they wanted people to clean. They wanted the courthouse to be cleaned. The doorknobs. This was during the whole
Yeah,
pandemic.
COVID.
Yeah, that's it. Clean
I
the
think
doorknob.
about that. I
The
would find some
steps.
spray cheap from
Yeah.
China.
You be
I know some people get very nervous about the term. It's like sometimes we have that mental block that we are not ready, not capable, right?
Mhm.
But once you figure out the logistics of how much cleaning process, we're just using that as an example, product I need per week to do what I need to do, how many people, how many where you like you must have your plan in place,
Mhm.
obviously to execute. Or if I'm not going to do this, I'm going to set aside 7 million for my company and the other 14 over
Mhm.
this, quarters or whatever will be dispersed on smaller contracts. And then you got to obviously keep track of your subcontractors because
Absolutely.
I think I saw Ace Butterfly put a comment up about the liability. You got to
Mhm.
perform. Let's
Mhm.
not forget that you must perform to their standard. But yeah, it is. She the same school board member would also say, not only do people not like you're saying even apply, is that you need to learn how to just do what you need to do to make money. Let's go. So, for example, her point is school board, for example, has our school board here, Miami Dade, I think it's like $1 billion, more than that.
Mhm.
The school board of taxpayer money to spend to execute what the Florida Constitution and our statutes say a school board ought to do.
Mhm.
So that goes for pencils, not
Mhm.
only books. Think
Laptops.
about laptops. Think about toilet paper. You could literally,
They issued these orders out there for people to
yes.
actually buy them.
And it's not for yes, and it's not for you to figure it all of the steps out.
Mhm.
You will get help to understand, okay, we need a vendor to supply toilet
Mhm.
tissue.
Yeah.
Well, we could figure out with you where to get the vendor from China or wherever else and supply it. You may look at yourself, I don't do that. I do this. I would never get into the toilet paper business. But baby, if
Mm.
they come out with that $250,000 for the year contract and you do your actual research and you see, it only cost me 100,000 to buy supplies and pay for, maybe trucks or whatever, you got to figure out the
Mhm.
logistics of it all. But I was just like, maybe I need to go in a toilet paper business. Like what
Man.
is good? That's why I say I throw out there as food for thought. When people say, I only want to do what I love, but what if you could find a way to finance
Mhm.
everything that you love by just working hard and doing something well? Do you get what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Absolutely. And
Um,
and you said something toilet paper. During the past, I seen this other contract with the Baltimore City public schools. They were looking for multiple temp agencies to provide substitute teachers.
oh Lord.
I said, man, I don't have that.
You was thinking, how can I start a temp agency
Oh
today?
my gosh.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Because even when I looked at it, I was like, I don't really want to provide legal service, but you don't have to provide
Correct.
necessarily as long as you know that industry well
Hmm.
enough and the logistics of it, you could supply paint, erasers,
Hmm.
Jamaican beef pat, like whatever you do, it's likely that a state prison,
Hmm.
a local prison,
Hmm.
all of these, our sheriff got money.
Mm.
Are not just on the bigger levels of, like, you think school board, the property appraiser office.
Hmm.
They have, like, all the different governmental offices have all these federal contracts. And I
Correct.
agree with Chemo. Governments are full of inefficiencies,
Yeah.
and contracting can help some opportunities. This is where we get our hello. Y'all keep talking about 40 acres. Just
Man.
saying, just saying. So when you got your duns,
Hmm.
you looked over where you would apply. You read the
Correct.
RFP.
Yes.
You put in for it. Do you get to see what other people are bidding, or do you just cold
No.
kind of bid?
I just bid. I had to turn in a cost detail sheet with how much I want to charge the government an hour. So I said that, and that's when they reached out. So what happens is with the contracts, when they give you a year contract with another year to renew, or it could be 2 years and a year to renew. So the following year, my hourly rate will go up.
Rah.
So that's Suzette's like, aha.
Today's price is not yesterday's price.
Yes,
That Joe.
yes,
Yesterday's price is
absolutely.
yesterday's price. Let's go.
Yeah.
So
So
definitely there's some advantages to that, and they anticipate it. They
mhm,
write the contract so that you can get more the next year.
correct.
So you go
And it
like,
was a
well, no.
pilot program too that started.
Mhm.
So we were the first, myself and two other companies were the first companies they actually using. And one of
Wow.
the attorneys who's in charge of the guardianship unit, she said, "Man, you are good at what you do." And she always give me the hardest cases. She was like, "This case is in Baltimore City. Can you go in Baltimore City, please?"
Mm-mm.
I'm like,
They think
I
you
work in
scared.
Baltimore City. Come
Yeah,
on,
like come on, guys.
give it to me, you know,
Yes.
and just
Wow.
invoice them. And every time you have a good relationship with them, when you apply for another contract, the other procurement officer will ask for relationships. They want you to put references on your proposal. So if you have good relationships with the previous people you've done business with, put it on your proposal because they want to see that. So the more you have business relationships with the government,
Yes.
the more doors begin to open. And I tell people, man, just
Military too.
hmm?
If you've served in the military,
Yes.
oh, they're looking for vets, bro.
Oh, they got
If
veterans. Yeah, they got
Yeah,
veterans.
no, I'm just saying
Mhm.
many vets can
Yes.
take advantage of this because they give special points or whatever when you go into the bidding process, the early process of being considered among all the candidates. They look for certain things: minority,
Correct.
women, vets,
Vets.
disabilities,
Correct.
people with disabilities. Ace says, I knew of a man who was a professor and owned a convenience store. Hello, exactly. He not worried about he's looking at certain advantages and probably what he enjoyed being a professor, but he know
Mhm.
he got to pay for it. And
Absolutely.
our counterparts think kids and grandkids. I had folks in law school with me who I'm here trying to fill out the FAFSA, or some of y'all say FAFSA, FAFSA, the FAFSA. And my homegirl who was in my section in law school, she's like, no, my grandparents are paying for this.
Wow.
Okay, I'm in a different line. Let me get up. I was like, and she ended up being one of my great friends from law school. Nothing wrong with
Mhm.
that. But her peoples think Anne got a condo when she graduated. How about that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Because they own the convenience store on top of being the professor. So they
Wow.
think broader. And I will say a lot of people, different ethnicity. I'm not gonna say only one, think
Mhm.
this way. But it's a beautiful shift in how people, can reach the true middle class and
Yes.
change your life, change your family's life, change the trajectory of your family's life. So it's a very good thing. Sunbreeze, what are you talking about? I'm not moving to California. What are you talking about? I'm not sure what that means, but okay. Moving right along.
People on YouTube planning for you, huh?
I'm about to say, what are we talking about here? We're talking about government contracts. Okay, let me do a reset. Again, welcome everybody. I have none other than K Business Podcast here for the first time on the Suzette Speaks show. Thank you for doing me the honors, sir. He's
Yes,
here
ma'am.
speaking on his own personal experience, and basically his channel talks about a lot, obviously K Business Podcast of biz. I saw a show on inflation. I think tomorrow you have a show. I'm checking you out. Who with was it a makeup artist in business?
Yes, I did an
So I
interview
think
with
that
a
was
makeup artist. Yeah,
fantastic. So he's very broad in the different business aspects that he talks about. So
correct.
tonight we're here talking about how to obtain government contracts. I think this is something, especially in minority communities, but across the board, people don't
Yeah.
take advantage of. And again, it's about, to me, long term and residual income, right? Or things that can multiply without you being on that job physically, right? So if you are brave enough, and again, I don't think it's even that hard. Sometimes, again, I remember when my homeboy, he got a management contract. He's an attorney. He got a management contract for multi-story, I think it was government, like Section 8 housing. Yo, I think he almost had a conniption when he called me. He was like, Suzette, I got the contract.
Oh
And he
yeah.
was freaking out. He was like, ah! It was like a multi-million dollar contract, multi-year.
Oof.
He knew how, obviously he knew something about property management,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember his whole, I just know his, like, everything changed for him. He was freaked out at first. He was just like, I can't believe I got it. But the sky's the limit
The
after
sky's
that.
the limit.
Because after, as you say, once you got one and the
Oh,
next government entity sees you've already had one, it's almost like you're in the matrix.
correct.
The
Absolutely.
hamster wheel, whatever you want to call it. It
Absolutely.
opens the door. It opens the door. So
And
it's
and
fantastic. So
and
is
the
that what happened?
funding.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The
No,
funding, the
you're good.
money is set aside for us, for people, minorities, women. You know, my wife. I said, hey, we together. We're gonna apply for this
Absolutely.
contract. You know.
Yes.
So I mean, the sky's the limit, man.
So this is a question, Ace. I see. What does K like least
What does
about
Kay least like
getting?
about the government contract?
Yes.
Just well, I guess it's on my part, not the government's part. Because the
Yes.
government, when they issue the contracts, it is what it is when you have to read all those pages. 120 pages.
RFP.
Yes, the
Well,
RFP.
it will scare you out of applying.
I took one night, I was just reading.
Yeah.
But the thing is, every time I write a proposal, I save it. Have good documentation.
Oh,
You know, so
so you
every
can use some of the
proposal,
language from the last time for the
perfect.
new one. Don't reinvent the wheel, people. I love it. I love it. I love it.
All I do is just copy, paste, make some changes, blah blah blah. You know, because some contracts, some proposals, some of my proposals are like 30 pages, and sometimes I might not win, but I'll save it
Yes.
anyway because I
Exactly. You
use the
put
same
that effort
information.
into it. I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
drop the link, y'all, because I want to make sure if any of you guys have any direct questions for Kay, that you will be able to ask in this time while we have him. Jackie says, I own a box truck. Do you see some government contracts for box trucks?
Oh yes. Where are you?
Moving
Yes, moving
is
company.
money.
You don't even need the government contract yet. You can post it on Craigslist and people will reach out to you.
Moving is money. Just
Moving is
don't
money.
mash up the people's stuff.
Let me tell you this. I'm sitting in my house, right? I just got this house last year in November. I had to pay almost $2-3 grand just to move from one county to another county.
Yeah.
That's a big business.
All like moving companies, if you could get reliable people, that's the thing. The big wild card is the employees. But if you can hire reliable people that's not going to throw those people's stuff in the garbage or try to steal their stuff, that's the thing. You got to have good insurance as well. But moving, it can be I had a student of mine who did what he called courier. That's big business.
Courier service. Oh
is
yes, that's
big
big.
business. That is, if you don't know what that means, for example, even me as an attorney, I might need a document notarized by a lady who lives more than maybe 30 miles from me. I can't spend the more than 30 minutes to go get this notarized. I call a courier. Some of them are notaries. They'll go for me, show up at their house or at the office or wherever, notarize it for me, and come on back. And that might cost me $80.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? I bill the client anyway. But point is, if they do that, 6 times a day, 10 times a day, it's like a more lucrative Uberization
Yeah.
of travel, like of a consulting business, of a service
Correct.
business.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something. And again, what I love about this too, we got to talk about a couple things, because I was just thinking about my student. What if you have a criminal record? You can't get government contracts. Is that true?
It depends on what type of contract you're going into. If you're going into a contract with maybe dealing with children, they will need a CPS. They'll do a CPS history, criminal history, FBI,
Child
state,
Protective
federal.
Services
Yeah,
guys.
we'll
Yeah,
do
yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff. Yeah. So it
So
depends on if you're going into a sensitive kind of agent, doing something that's very sensitive. Maybe dealing with financial. They can do a background check on you, but not all of them do background checks.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when we think about these things, don't count yourself out, is what I wanted to tell
Mm-hmm.
anyone who has a criminal record, who's been convicted of anything. If it's not dealing with obviously kids, money, certain kind of businesses,
Mm-hmm.
could be all right. Because I've seen folks who are former prisoners get good
Prisoners, yeah.
contracts. I've seen this.
Mhm.
So I'm like, you people think, oh, I'm an ex-con, I can't. No, this
Mm-mm.
might actually be your saving grace. This might
Absolutely.
actually be your new bread and butter. That same hustle you had on the street. Okay, I'm not going too deep, but you need to have for something like this, which is so legit, which is so beautiful, that you can still qualify. So be aware that just
Mm-hmm.
because, depends on your state, do your research. You have, something on your record does not necessarily preclude you
Mm-hmm.
from either applying or obtaining it. So that's wonderful. The
Mm-hmm.
link has been dropped, y'all. If you want to come up, you can show yourself in the back. If you have a question, please drop it in the chat. So Ace Butterfly asks, Suzette Speaks is absolutely right. With a moving company, the employees are the challenge. Yes, you need
Mm-hmm.
trustworthy. Absolutely. Jackie trying to get a straight up contract. He lives in Maryland though, Jackie. He could tell you probably about what contracts are available up there. But I'm
Orlando.
sure
Mm-hmm.
in Florida, we must have some kind of similar posting system. He says in
Mm-hmm.
Maryland, there's like an exchange where, like basically a website,
Marketplace. Mm-hmm.
marketplace where everything is listed for everything. I'm not sure. I personally don't know of it, but I'm sure for the different entities, check in your county, check for the
Mm-hmm.
different
Just
governmental.
type just type in Orlando procurement, and that will show up,
Uh,
and
yeah.
you see all the available contracts there.
Yes, Andrew said I do notary work when I'm not doing real estate sales. I hear you. So yeah, certain things we can think of something complex that we love to do, but some
Mm-hmm.
of the most basic functions, you can think someone's always going to need a notary. Someone's always going to need fill in the blank. As soon as you can kind of conceive it,
Mm-hmm.
start looking up possible what we call pure procurement, right? I have a friend girl who works for, she actually used to work for Office Depot, and her
Mm-hmm.
whole job for Office Depot, because now we're talking government, but I'll flip it and think, a little bit on the corporate side. For
Mm-hmm.
Office Depot, it was just to make sure that she had minorities in the bidding process for Office Depot's
Mm-hmm.
procurement. So Office Depot have all these buildings that need to be cleaned. Office Depot have, stores, all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of stuff that needs everything just like a government.
I'm
So
telling you.
when her office is called diversity, she's now doing it. She actually would be a great guest too. She's now doing it for a government entity,
Mm-hmm.
but her whole job is to try to get minorities in the pipeline, because
Mm.
it's so easy not for us to be. Does that make sense?
It makes
I'm
sense.
mad that it is, but a lot of people
And people
don't
will
get
ask
involved.
the question,
Yes.
hey, I live in North Carolina. Can I bid for a contract in Maryland? Yes, you can. The way I always advise people is to get a registered agent, register the business in Maryland, and get a registered agent so all your mail can go to a registered agent, and you can bid for contracts in other states.
So you don't even have to live in that state, y'all.
No.
Sometimes we think there's so many limiting things, and if you don't know game, you don't know game, man.
Mm-hmm.
Big time drum, long time no see. Yes, Miss the Miss Creative. We talked about this at the beginning. So the first things first is you have to own a business. You have to have a legitimate on the books
Mm-hmm.
business. Once you
Also,
establish it, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I wanted to say something. There's
Yes.
some contracts that can give to like a I'm just
Individuals. You're right.
individuals. Like
You're
I'm
right.
looking
You
for a
don't have to own a
CPA.
business. I
I'm
stand
looking
corrected. You're
for an
right.
attorney just
Yes.
to help with the child welfare, just to review cases. So sometimes, but I don't see those a lot. But they do give to individuals, not.
Rarely.
But
I stand
sometimes it's good
corrected.
to
Yes.
actually even have a business
I
because
was
you
about
will
to
be
say, I
working
don't know
for a
anybody
business.
who wouldn't have a business.
Yeah, you gotta
But
have one.
to answer your question, thank you. I stand corrected. Yes, there are contracts where you do not have to have a business. It can be you, and maybe I guess your social security and DUNS number
Mhm.
would be like
Correct. Social
your
security number.
business. Yeah. So if
Mhm.
it depends on the procurement, you'd have to look it up. But the most common I see, everybody has a business because you want the
Absolutely.
business protection anyway.
Mhm.
Depends on what you're in. Again, I'm not giving legal advice. Y'all just know that we're doing this for informational purposes. So yours is a specific question. But again, in general, again, we're not going to answer just for you, ma'am, but in general, no, you don't necessarily have to have a company to get a contract, but it is the
Mhm.
most common practice to
Yes.
see people with a business, right, on the
It's
books,
better.
registered with the state.
Mhm.
So it depends. It is on an individual basis. So you'd have to see what works best for you. So speak to somebody directly so that we can clear that up.
Mhm.
Yes, Kay is dropping. So I want to hear anything. I want to hear anything that people do wrong. What are the pitfalls? Because I think we will, through hopefully this show, spark an interest in at least doing more research,
Mhm.
guys, so you'll know what is available in your areas. And again, you don't even have to live. You could be a supplier from Georgia to Florida, from Florida
Mhm.
to wherever. You probably just need, as he's suggesting, do your research on a registered agent in that
Mhm.
state, right? So
Yeah.
it does not necessarily have to be any of you don't even have to be in the same state.
Mhm.
Again, there's so much money to get. It's so crazy to think about it because
So
now I'm
much.
thinking about all
I
this
tell you this,
interstate commerce.
Suzette, last year I wanted to start another type of business, process server. You're an attorney, so you know what a process server is.
Explain for the people what a process server
Process
is.
server is a person that deliver legal documents, right? So this was maybe a 2-month trial. I said, let me just try.
Mm, mm.
And I got a few documents. Some people out of state called me and was like, "Hey, can you serve this company? Rush service $100." So I served them. I got $100, right? So I did about 5 serves, 6 serves, and I stopped. I said, "Okay, I
Now,
can't do it."
did you have to get a special license to be a process server in
No,
your state?
you don't.
Anybody can be a process server in
Anybody can be
Maryland?
a process server. Yeah,
Mm.
you just have to train yourself. I mean, if you have the work
Maybe you got to do a
experience,
little course or something online.
yeah, do a little course, watch YouTube, just know how to do the service.
How to move.
Yes, how to chase people
You've
down.
been served. Pa!
Uh-huh.
Like
But
Pineapple Express.
most of the contracts that I got were serving companies. Safe. You don't have to worry about going
You
to
gotta
somebody's
you gotta
house.
creep into the neighborhood. Yeah.
Exactly.
No,
So,
I paid for a notary. I remember I did a sale one time back where the seller was in Martha's Vineyard for vacation.
mhm,
And I had to find a notary that would take, because you have to take a ferry.
mhm,
If you don't fly, you have to take a ferry into Martha's Vineyard. I
mhm.
forget how much I charge it to the client. I don't remember, but I just remember being like, Lord, thank you for allowing me to find this lady's whole hustle is being ready to go to Martha's Vineyard to notarize for you.
Mhm.
I was just like, this is again such a unique. I don't know what her ties were to the area, how she ended up doing it, but it was just so interesting to me that I'm like, this is like her summer hustle. She goes and gets papers signed for people on the island and back to you in time. It was really I was so grateful because I was like, they're where? We have to close this deal. But like you said, the most unusual, sometimes little known ways of making money are sometimes the best, but
I'm
people
telling
just
you.
don't have any clue
But
that
what
they
was
exist.
what
Go
was
ahead.
funny about that was
Yeah.
when I stopped about maybe 6 weeks ago, I was on the state website marketplace, and one of the counties was looking for a process server
Oh, always keep it up,
for a
man.
year. I said, "Oh no,
You think you don't need bread, and then the bread comes to you.
oh
Y'all can join
God."
the conversation. He has about 15 or so more minutes with us. So I want to make sure anybody else who has a question, you can either come up or you can ask it in the chat. I'll try to get to everybody's. But yes, let's see. What is Big Chime Drum talking about? Can somebody please let me know? I don't know what that is, what's going on right now, and that I hope I'm not going to change the subject. But yes, but if you need to get your business off the ground, we're here doing work. K Business Podcast. And we're here hopefully answering your questions about government contracts, giving you a
Sure.
peek behind the curtain, y'all. It is a very lucrative. You see some of these people that you look around and I'm like, how they living, especially in
Yes.
Miami. I'll be like, you living on Star Island.
Oh,
I'm not grudging you. I just want to know how you got there, right?
yes.
Is this generational money that was this passed down from the great greats, or
No.
what did you do? Are you scamming Medicare? God forbid. But I'm,
Also,
I'm like, there's so much people in Miami that got bread, and I realize in this day and age, y'all, it's not in the typical ways that we sometimes
think.
think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think we are realizing, the internet has totally transformed,
Mm-hmm.
business. It
Correct.
has allowed us to kind of, circumvent a lot of gatekeeping. So
Yes.
it's a beautiful thing. But I think sometimes we also are overwhelmed by it and we don't know where to start. And, we only know what we know in terms of a confined way
Mm-hmm.
of making money, but industries we know of. But if
Mm-hmm.
someone told you find a pencil company in Brazil to bring pencils to the United States to sell to the school board and you'd be a millionaire,
Mm.
I mean, people would be skeptical. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't.
They
And
wouldn't
it's
even.
not that
Some
hard
people
and you
wouldn't
have
even
to
try.
do a little bit more research.
Mm-hmm.
But I was asking you about your mistakes or what.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you. Good questions, Chemo. I was asking him about mistakes people make, and then Chemo added, was K's government contract mostly with the federal government, state, or his local government? Can you
I
answer that
I
for
have
me?
a contract with the state, the courts system, so that would be considered state.
So
Yeah,
with the
I haven't
court,
got to the federal level. I'm working my way up there.
the one I had applied for but didn't apply for was a federal contract. But I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know if I want to do this. Like because it's a lot to oversee.
Oh gosh, it is.
Like I want to oversee the business part. I didn't really want to oversee the legal part, but obviously
Oh.
that would be the crux of like I was like, gosh, I have to
Mhm.
really. I don't want to manage other attorneys. That's difficult. But I mean, I have friends that do it. They manage teams of 100. That's a lot of work. I'm
Yes,
like,
it
I
is.
got the federal. I want the federal contract so that I can do less work. But
We
initially,
had several
ooh, it's a lot.
attorney law firms in the state of Maryland, because I was in the foster care division. So the DSS, we had our own attorney. The mom had their own attorney, dad had their own attorney. So we had law firms that represented the children or represented the parents. If
Yes.
mom has a public defender, then dad has to get a law firm to represent him. So I didn't know that. So when I looked on the website, I noticed that the state was giving out contracts to law firms for Department of Social Services. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. And that was a lot of money. A lot of money. Almost six figures.
Wow. Yeah,
Hmm.
no, this is so interesting, guys. I think we're giving you some good game, just in terms of the bare bones. Obviously, you have to fill in the blanks. You may have to go to, and I think another thing, and before I get back to you telling me maybe mistakes you made,
Hmm.
pricing being one, but any other mistakes you see people typically make, I'll let you answer in a second. But I think a lot of government entities do workshops,
Hmm.
seminars, or recruitment to
Correct.
help you get into the system. So I think many, not all, different depending on your state, depending on federal, state, or local, they realize there is an information gap among many minority
Hmm.
communities, and they are trying to fill it. So when you see these things, go on Eventbrite, go look up
Hmm.
procurement, go look
Hmm.
up government contract, seminar, webinar, workshop, whatever they're calling it, where you are. And oftentimes they will walk you in the door, walk you through the
Yes.
process, and get you
Yes.
going. Because, like he said, there are many, uh, I would say, quota based contracts where if they have a construction contract, 90% could be to whoever, but 10% got to be for minority. And if there is no minority, oh my goodness, we are leaving our rightful money, if you want to
Mm-hmm.
call it that, like at least designated, some may argue otherwise, but designated monies out there on all levels. So don't discount yourself before
Mm-hmm.
even looking at this or looking into this, depending on where you live. So tell us any mistakes, if you want to call it
Mistakes.
that.
Okay. Mistake. I had this person. It wasn't one of my mistakes. It was a mistake of somebody I was actually trying to mold to get government contracts. They didn't pay their annual filing fee, and they did the proposal, everything, and but the business was not in good standing with the state. So that was one mistake they made. So they had to pay it, and by then it was too late. It closed. so so they lost that opportunity.
Oh
Yes.
no.
And guess
Oh
what?
no.
Guess what? It
Mm.
was only two people that applied for it, and those two people got the funding. It could have
Yo,
went to
sometimes
three of
when
them.
it's yours, it's just yours.
Yeah.
That's why we're saying, guys, at least go for it.
Hmm.
Sometimes we don't know what it is, but it is literally like,
Also, I wanted to
yes,
say something.
yes,
There's something called pre-bid conference. That means you go to a meeting before you submit your proposal. So this is where the procurement officer will talk about the contract, if you have any questions, and
yes,
this is documented. So all the questions people ask, it's public information. So you attend this meeting, you sit, if you have any questions, you ask the questions. That's how you're able to know if this contract is for you or not. Some don't do any pre-bid, but most of the offices, procurement offices, have a pre-bid conference.
yes. I went through that. I went through. I think I felt like it was more like an interview when they were asking me a bunch of questions, and it was
Mhm.
very much like, oh my goodness. But my legal mind, I could understand it. Boop, boop, boop. I let them know
Yes, yes.
what I would
Mhm,
need. But on my, I didn't know what to. I asked them a few, but I was asking them more legal because what I saw was, and I don't know if it applies with you or people that possibly do consulting.
mhm,
They had an internal like legal, I don't know what to call it, but like I don't want to say like an oversight person where if
mhm.
I didn't know what to do, if I had gotten this contract, I could call that person and they could tell me, okay, this would probably be your best course of action. Do you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
anything
They're
like
always gonna
that?
have a contact person. Yeah,
Yeah, so I
yeah.
think sometimes if you get in a pickle, if you really don't know what you're
Mhm.
doing, you can really there's help. I just don't want to
Yeah,
say
because
like I got
you
this big
you
old
have
contract
to.
and I'm sitting at home crying. No,
Mhm.
they not gonna let you waste their money. They
Mm-mm.
got people that are gonna be like, "What'd you
Monitoring, they
do?"
call it the monitoring something,
Yes,
but
and
the procurement officer is not the person you contact. Once they
no,
issue, they're
you have a
gone. They're
different
on to the
contact.
next
Yeah.
one. Yeah. So you reach out to the person monitoring the contract who will check in with you time to time. Hey, hope everything is okay, blah blah blah. The lady I'm in contact with is an attorney. So she's the one that I'm in contact with, and I send my invoices to. So learn how to write invoices too, guys.
Oh no, you better
Don't
have an
use
invoicing system.
Yeah. So
You
I
can't
use
play with that.
PayPal or I use but mostly PayPal. I'll make sure
PayPal is
all
good.
your information is there, your business, your EIN number, your address. Make sure you have a business address, not your home address,
Ah,
please.
yes. People, we got to make sure it's legit, legit. So do
Correct.
business, even if it like you pay for a mailbox,
Yeah.
PO box or something like that, it can work that way too.
Hmm.
So, but just having a business designated address, you can also hire a registered agent depending on your specific circumstance. A says, Kay looks like he's going, hey, Bernard, going down a fire path, financial independence, retire early. This is how people do it, y'all.
Hmm.
It is the weirdest thing sometimes what the government needs. And if you are, I agree with this too, Ace, very organized and on top of deadlines and resourceful. That's what
Yes.
entrepreneurs need to be,
Yes.
resilient and resourceful.
Absolutely.
Like, oh my gosh, I promised them I was going to get this done and I don't have a way to do it myself. How am I going to get it done? It's like a no excuses zone, right? So if you have that type of grind in you, It's a beautiful thing. Wow. Yeah, I don't want to report this. I don't want to report this
No, because
because
don't we
people are
don't
saying
even
this on my phone are telling me it might be a
don't even
hoax.
go
I don't want to
don't
report
even
nothing.
do that
So now that I'm
acting.
bringing you up. Let's go. Last call on the panel. Kay got a family he got to take care of. He said, I got a few more minutes.
I'm good. No,
So,
I'm
okay, you
having fun.
good?
This
All
is
right.
awesome.
Bernard, how are you?
How are you doing? Much grace to both of y'all. Thank y'all for bringing this up. This is awesome. This is my
Thank
speed. This is my
Awesome. Glad you're
speed.
here. Like I said, we're
And
talking money over the next couple of weeks.
yes,
So,
yes.
what would you like to add? What are your thoughts on the conversation?
I think what scares everybody the most, and I know it was with me, because by me being a truck driver, I heard about, well, it used to be a truck driver, but it's funny. I get out of the movies today, and my son calls me. He goes, Dad, hey, and he's getting out of the Navy as we speak. So this still kind of connects. He goes, hey, Dad, I want to go buy a truck and you drive for me. And I'm sitting up there and I'm like, hmm. And I knew a guy in government here in Norfolk where I'm at. I wish I would have got his number, but he was in charge of letting the contracts out for the truck drivers and for the routes.
Yeah.
And I still kick myself to this day because I know exactly what Kay is talking about. And I think what scares everybody is everything you guys just said. You coming in off the street and it's like, I got to read all this. Yeah, but once you get through all that, I tell anybody, just like you guys say, pay for the convenience. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I called LegalZoom the other day. They like do everything for like almost $600.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, K Mike can back me up. I'm serious. For $600,
Yes.
you get a tax, you get a lawyer.
Yeah.
They give you your own tax people.
Mm-hmm.
They will ask you when you want your taxes done, every 90 days or every year. LegalZoom does, like, they get your EIN number. They do all
They
that
do
for like
everything.
$600.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
did
So
that
if you
the
Everything.
first
need
time.
help,
Mm-hmm.
there's help.
Yes.
Great.
So
Great.
I think, and I'm gonna say this, might offend some people, but what he's talking about is probably the only thing I will ever say since I've been in these YouTube streets that's worth having a course for actually helping somebody to understand what you're talking about, because you've done it so long, you make it sound so easy. So when you hit stuff off you and Suzette, I think it
Yes.
scares a lot of us, and it's like I don't mind reading,
We feel
but you
like we're
guys,
breaking it down, but you're right. It can be
I'm
intimidating. It
serious.
can sound
Yeah,
very, very
yeah,
like over your head. I hear
yeah,
you.
Absolutely.
I hear
yeah.
you.
So
But
I
there's
love it.
help. There's resources like Kay.
Yes.
There's books. There, like I said, is
Mm-hmm.
seminars. I remember even when in my local city where I used to live, they would have these things all the time. Thank God
Yeah.
there were people that wanted to open up these corridors because a lot of people keep them closed.
Go to
And
SBA.gov and go to SCORE. They will help you, man.
yes.
It's so
I've
it's
So
already
so
been. I've already
easy.
been to my VA thing because of you. I'm sitting up here looking like I already signed up, and I'm
yes.
looking like,
Yeah, don't let the RFP scare you either. You do have to
yeah,
read it and you do have to meet the rubric, the rules, right?
right,
But you just
right.
just got to make sure you have support. If I can't fulfill this, who would I subcontract with? Do I have a relationship with them already? Do I
Mm-hmm.
know how they roll? Do I know their level of work? You have
Correct.
to already have these. You can't like get in a jam and then be like, oh gosh, where I'm gonna go. No, you have to develop your network already. Are you
Mm-hmm.
in that industry? Are you in industry groups where if something happened, someone might be able to who was also approved vendor in that city, state, wherever, feds that could help me out. So you got to start doing that research and kind of trying to figure out where to get into those circles. But if you go to SBA, the Small Business Administration.gov's
Mm-hmm.
SBA, or as we said, SCORE. SCORE has another acronym I cannot remember at this moment, but it's for small business coaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's federally funded, I
For
believe,
free.
and it's free.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a little bit, intimidated, and I can understand that because it
And
sounds like, but I don't know, the
on my
legalese.
channel, I have
Yeah.
I did content on the SBA.gov
Oh, you
where
Okay.
did?
where it shows you step by step on how to start a business. Because I get people that will call me and say, "Kay, I just paid this guy $2,000 to help me with my
For what?
business. I just
That
paid this
hurt
guy,
me.
$700 to help me with my EIN number." I said, "Dude, to get an EIN
It's
number is
free.
free.
Is
You
it
It's
can
go
do
on a
it
free.
yourself.
website and click, put in your name, address, phone number, and click?
That's it.
And
LLC,
people,
And
and I
and
have
Corp.
had
I want
people
to add
as an
that.
attorney. Go ahead,
I want
Bernard.
to add that. I want to add that as a lawyer and as K. because I asked the dude, and this is very important. I want people to hear this. For your cousins that's getting out, they didn't care nothing about no background check. The guy was just like, the guy at Legal Zoom said that has nothing to do with you getting an EIE. I said, and I sat back and I said, okay, I just found another way to tell brothers that are getting out or sisters
exactly
to start your own
this
business.
is your second lease at life. Y'all probably can't work for people. Again, of course, there are people that ban the box. In some states, they ban the box, and they're not going to ask you. So you can still get hopefully a living wage. But I realize once you get out, if you have served time in criminal institutions,
your own business,
you're going to have to build your own way into the economy, because people are going to spend a lot of time reminding you of what you did.
And people should not look at dirty jobs as something that is not valuable. Let me tell you this. I seen lucrative. I seen a contract for Baltimore City. They wanted a company to pick up all the trash at all the parks. So somebody that has a criminal record and you have a business, this is a great contract for you. Look in the city.
And you can hire some of your homies. No, just kidding. You can that's bad. No, I'm just kidding. But no, you know people from the block. You know people that could be, you know, the young kids, the people who were, you know, we could pay it forward, and we can also allow people, again, you know, a standard of living to where you're not hustling and you're not doing the things that got you there, and you're legit. And this is what, again, a lot of people think they're out of the game automatically, but you're not. And again, we got to, you know, put the caveat, disclaimer. It depends on the contract. It depends from state to state. It depends on, you know, what type of work in the contract you'll be doing. But there are many that you can do. When it comes to a lot of these, I mean, we're just mentioning the basic ones, but I'm sure things that we haven't thought of, supplying items. Right now, we're talking about physical, you know, human services things, but like supplying items, ain't nothing gonna stop you from buying this low and selling it high. Basics.
And just send them an
burger buns. Think, you know what I'm saying? We can think so complex sometimes, but sometimes it be the little stuff that gives you this, you know, a competitive advantage. So we really, really need to open up our eyes, broaden our understanding of where money comes from. Yes, credit score. Yes, certain basics, but we got to step into the next level now too. Especially if you've been working for other people and you have a desire to step out there. This is how you create your annual income. And you know, I make 6 figures a year because I already have my contract, you know, it's lined up, and I'm not worried about, am I going to get that next individual client? Those are extra after you get your government contract. But people think the other way. I'm chasing down. No, I don't want to chase. I want my money right up front. I want it lined up.
That was my next question to Kay. 2 questions. I know the state because I used to do photography with my what do you call my mentor for years. I know the state, like we would do Hampton University, Norfolk State, and it's like, man, they pay 30 days out. Now, how does the government pay, or does it depend on the contract?
That the government pays, you have to invoice them. Net 30 says like a net 30 kind of thing.
So you get paid after you do
you provide a service.
That's a normal thing. Yeah. So you got to be able to withstand that.
Right. That's why I asked that question for the people that So, and then the other that was a realistic question. The other question is, I was wondering how many people were able to, I want to use the word convince or help at the age of 45 plus, because some of them, a lot of them took a hit in the, 2019. And have you come across anybody that's like, I'll say 50 plus, and they might have lost some, but you like, hey, and see, I think that's why I asked that first question was for that cushion for people who get real excited what you're telling them. But it's like, hey, man, they doing business like business. They're going to pay you like 15, 30 days out. So is there anybody you've helped like that?
No, I haven't helped anybody in the 50s. I've mostly helped people like in mid 30s.
Gotcha.
I just consulted with a young lady this past weekend who was so interested in government contracts. So I haven't really done any type of consulting with anybody older because most of the stuff is on my channel is free. So,
oh yeah, no doubt.
yeah.
No
So
doubt.
it's like, most of the people on my channel, some of them are in their 50s. So they probably got some of the information from my channel. So I
Well,
have a
I
really
would
small
pay. I
channel.
would pay. I'm just telling you now. I would pay. But I mean, that's just me.
The thing is, I was telling Suzette somebody was going to charge me $3,000 just to teach
I
me.
heard that, and I was like,
People want me to. Like I had a lady one time. I was like, "Ma'am, I just don't have the time to help you. A lot of this is free or very low cost." And
Yeah.
she was like, a lady gave she paying monthly $600 a month, set up her business and do her taxes. I say, do what?
Yeah.
And it's because people are not aware. They lack the education and the wisdom to understand how this works. And I feel bad. I was like, gosh, she's getting got, but I just don't have the time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I told her I almost could do it for free, but I just don't have the time.
I was telling you guys earlier.
It
This
sucks
guy,
when people get taken advantage of,
yeah,
man.
he wanted to start the business and he got the company registered. All he needed was the EIN, and he paid $2,000 to a guy, and the guy registered the wrong
Name.
He gave him a C. He was supposed to get an LLC. He gave him a S corp.
oh, S corp.
Yeah, people are so shisty. It just makes me so upset that folks who are trying. So guys, trust. If you go to the website, look for a .org or a .gov. In the websites.
I did it for free for him. I did it for free, and I sent them, and they sent me. I put his email. They sent it to him. Boom,
oh, you did it for free. You said, "Oh wow, good for you." Because I'm telling you, I just don't want, because I have the law license. If I do it, I'm on the hook for what I do. I'm not finna do your stuff for free. I'm gonna have to charge you.
Exactly.
So it's like, but it's so simple. I'm kind of like, I know whole companies that are just around this, and they're $200 to set up all your stuff, and I still think that's expensive. But I'd rather pay you for your time. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you see in
200 is fine. I'm good with 200.
I'm cool.
Yeah, 200 is
I'm not
fine.
cool with 2,000 because 2,000 is starting capital.
To set up your business. If you see that, run, y'all. Run. Yeah. It's not that expensive. Thank you, God. We live in America. The barriers. That's how you got all these shell companies. It don't take but 5 minutes to set up a company in America.
It doesn't.
Maybe 10. The longest it's going to take you is to get the bank account.
That's it. Because the bank accounts will verify if you
exactly. So you need the other stuff to get the bank account. You can't just walk in the bank and say, "I want to start a business. Here's my account."
They're gonna laugh
at you. Make me an account. Kimbo, you've been waiting patiently. Thank you again for your generosity. He asks, states and asks, some state governments ask for mandatory references from prior government work. How does Kay handle this? Do you ask for references prior to completing your current work if you work for the state?
Read that question. Some state governments ask for mandatory references. So you're talking about for the government contract, Kim?
So I think so. So for example, I'm not saying he does, but possibly works for the state. But this is the tricky part. Because you don't want those people knowing that you applying for government stuff.
No, you can't. It's a
because your boss is gonna be hating you forever and try to fire you. Because there are people that just hate seeing other people make money, bro. It's crazy. So I get what he's asking.
I don't work for the government anymore. I used to work for the state, so I don't work for them anymore. So
did you have to get references?
On my proposal, yes, I got references from people that I've done business with.
So not necessarily from the state.
Not necessarily from
your prior work experience at the state. Okay.
And it all depends. The type of references is based on what the procurement officer wants. They might want you to put references of prior government agencies you've worked with, or just references of people you've done business with. So they can verify that the work you provided, the services you provided was A+, was good. You wasn't,
So Kimo, I would just say this on a kind of like more like strategic. Don't tell the people that you currently work for.
Nope.
And if you have any other relationships, perhaps with people in government in other agencies, but keep the people that you work immediately for, obviously, out your business.
I always tell this: even if you have a full-time job and you got a side business, keep that to yourself. Don't tell people at
your job. They will hate you.
People at work, they don't want to see people
because they're mad that they're not doing it.
Exactly.
So they're gonna make your life terrible.
I had my 40-hour job. I had my side business. Nobody knew. Nobody had a clue.
Yeah,
y'all can pass a collection plate on that when he just preached. just go ahead and do benediction. Don't do it, people. You can't even tell your family members.
Sometimes you can't. I'm telling you, I have gone into some mixers and some circles where I met with some people, and at the time I was younger and I was much more direct because I'm looking again, how y'all made this money? Like, I'm looking at where we are at. I'm looking at what you're wearing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sizing, not pocket watching per se, but as a curious young person, I was just kind of like, I'm doing something wrong. What are you doing so that I understand? And people are tight-lipped.
Yes. Oh.
Don't ask some people that they're gonna look at you like, so what? So you can come steal or not even steal, but compete with me now. They do not talk your their business.
Oh, some people don't talk.
No.
Yes, RM saying seriously, go to his channel, y'all. A lot of what you guys are asking, he has done shows on, and he's giving it to you for the free. He's giving you the game for the free. So make sure you go subscribe. Look at his content, and maybe there's a topic or two that might help y'all, because I see some of the questions and I'm like, he has done some of these shows on his
and what channel. I'm doing now, I'm doing a series. I'm showing everybody how to register your business in multiple states. So I did Florida, I did California, I did Maryland, how to register your business in Maryland, how to register your business in DC. I just got a comment a few minutes ago saying, hey, I just registered my business in New Jersey. Thank you. I watch your video. You don't even have to pay anybody $200.
Value.
I be giving because I just look at it as a blessing. Because when you bless someone, I get blessed. Like, I'll just do something good for somebody today, and next week a customer calls and said, "Hey, I have 12
all the time,
12 people to get trained, and I make my money that way."
Paying it forward is not.
Well, what Patty LaBelle say? When you get blessed, pass it on.
Exactly. The last call for the panel. If anybody wants to come up and ask a question directly, thank you, RM, for dropping the link. Billy says, "What type of government contracts like oil field? That's like drilling rights is something different. That's like the government pays people who owns and that's a little bit different to drill on their land.
Even international, that could be international.
So that's different. That's a little bit different than what we're talking
about. And that would touch me a little bit because we call them the S trucks, the self-deleting trucks is what we call the gasoline trucks.
Okay.
And the oil trucks, because all it takes is one mishap and you're gone. We call them the S trucks. Y'all know what I'm calling. And so what she's talking about, that kind of leads into trucking too. But here's another thing. Let me drop that on you guys. That's why my son called me. Because you can go get a truck right now. All you need to do is find a driver. He might already have a place to drive.
Wow.
Done.
Wow. No, it's this is the amazing
money out here, people.
My cousin said that all the time. She's like, Sue, why we not rich? Like rich? Like, there's money out here. We play games. Because you hear all these people that it's more about entertainment or, maybe social media. But there's some people that's behind the scenes that's on just a regular old grind, find a contract, provide a product or service, and follow through and do a good job. That can also make you a millionaire. But we don't really hear about it. So people are not necessarily comfortable or even know about that route. So we're putting you up on game, y'all, that a lot of times we are, again, swimming upstream, trying to follow an old formula for a time where, things have changed. So we have to really be agile, adapt, look around and say, I've been doing the same thing. I know y'all big on, I'm not knocking it, but I don't know much about it. The crypto and the disto and the But this right here, I know works.
Oh, yes.
Y'all
this right here is guaranteed.
I'm serious. I'm like vibrating right now. Y'all really blessed me tonight.
Also, guys, one thing, I've also won 2 business competitions where I had to pitch my business for, they give you seed money. So not only just government contracts, there are colleges that give current students and alumni an opportunity to pitch their startup business to win some seed money. So just look in your state. Just look, just search, just research.
My homegirl won 10,000 once. I supported her. It was like an urban league pitch contest. So the urban league put it together, and there are urban leagues all across the country in most major cities. But they got, Fifth Third Bank or whoever bank to sponsor it.
Correct.
So they host it. You got to explain your business. Talk about your business. We might bring you back for a part 2K business podcast.
Sure, I'm
Talk about
definitely
pitch competitions. Because
Correct.
again, y'all always thinking loans. I when I taught business classes, I was just like, please don't take no loan to start no business. And I'm not saying
please don't.
in your industry, if it is a high barrier to entry, if you have to buy big equipment, big old, what they call them, bobcats or construction equipment or whatever. Okay, that's one thing.
That's one thing. Yeah.
But if you're doing consulting or human service, save up your money. Sell chicken on the weekends.
Go drive Uber on the weekend. Drive DoorDash. Do something.
Do
Raise the
DoorDash.
money that way.
Save it up and fund your own company. Yep. I think that's the best way. I am not a big, again, every individual business is different. But for a lot of people, you're not even going to qualify for a blank loan. You're not going to walk into a major bank and they're not going to give you a loan. So stop.
SBA is going to ask you for 2 years of tax return. So you funded.
We're not gonna get in people's business. We stepping on toes, Kay. We stepping on. Y'all better hit the like button.
I'm
just doing
saying.
work tonight, guys. Opening up, hopefully, some of our eyes about government contracts, the ability to get them, how really accessible they are, how sometimes we are intimidated by the process, but we don't have to be, and we are challenging you. If you are a consultant, if you already sell an item, or maybe you should do some investigation about an item that you might be able to sell that you don't even think about ever. You're not thinking about it right now. But once you hear what contracts are available, you might be like, wait a minute, I could courier. I got 3-4 trucks. I got a van or 2, right? Them white vans that we see all over
the place.
They're couriers. And they're contracted with somebody. Either they're doing it privately, private business, or sometimes their money is guaranteed. Now, again, you pay, the government pays in arrears. So you work the month and then you get it 30 days or 45 days from the end of that month. That you have to do, calculation for. You have to account for paying your employees and things. But that's why you have to work and get your own savings stacked.
Correct.
You're going to be your own banker. But a lot of people don't realize that. They think they need a loan. I don't think for most basic businesses that I hear people have ideas for in our community, you don't need a loan.
You don't.
It's really, I don't know. We push that and you get discouraged. No, you got to get the second job and save
and fund it
for a year or 2.
I always say this on my channel: use your 9 to 5 to fund your 5 to 9. Boom.
Yes.
Put it aside. I like during the pandemic. I shocked how much you can save when you're not eating out every day. When I couldn't go to Starbucks last year, I was like, oh my gosh, I saved so much. You could save.
You save almost like 60 to 100 just off of Starbucks.
Yes. So those are the ways, and a separate account that you do not have a debit card for, that you just stack in. Or when that paycheck hit, you automatically pull that 200. You automatically, if you can't afford it, you automatically pull that 500. Don't look at it. It's emergency, and then you have your 10 grand to start your business.
Correct.
Right, but a lot of people don't know. Yes, like Shark Tank, exactly, RM. There are many local businesses, local organizations that do pitch competitions, that give away money. Google.
I want to.
How much money you want, Kay? I'm in your business.
The first one, 5K. Second one, 5K.
So 10 grand free.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring you back to talk about pitch competitions.
Oh man, and they don't ask you like questions like Shark Tank. It's not that.
It's not that hard. You're not in front of Mr. Wonderful.
They just want to see you pitch. One competition, they said is a 2-minute pitch. I said, what? This
for
is
$5
easy.
grand.
$5 grand.
And I could talk. Let's go.
Oh man, I
went up the gab. Hello.
I just said hi. I said hi. You got. I said I didn't, because they teach you how to pitch. You don't have to say your name because they already have your business plan. Because it's called a business plan competition. So type in business plan competitions. So you don't even have to say your name. Just give them a story. I have a pitch that will suck them in. You know what I mean?
I would give them. I would give them. How you
eating out your palm?
Yeah, like I told Suzette. We were talking behind the scenes. I was telling her, I said, I love doing life coaching and helping people. So I would tear that up because I read for the moment.
You know what,
I don't read just for me. I read for the moment.
Yeah, and on that same point, my my cousin been telling me for the longest. She works for Veterans Affairs here locally. When she came to one of my women's workshops, she was like, "You need to do this for vets." I never spent the
Oh yeah.
time to go ahead and put it together, but you never know. As I tell you guys to do it, here I am. But life takes its twists and turns. Y'all let me be. But she's always said when she saw me do a workshop, empowerment workshop, she was like, "You wasting your talent, hon. You need to be out here motivating these vets. You need to be out here motivating these people, these families." And I didn't take it seriously. This is a few years back, but I didn't take it seriously. I was just like, but I have never got a government contract. Especially knowing somebody on the inside, it helps. You just brought this to my mind. I may have to follow up with Cuz anytime now.
No, seriously.
But no, on all seriousness, get money 2-3 ways, guys. This is a reality of the times we live in, and the fact that one person cannot sustain a family is very difficult. Two people sometimes cannot sustain a family. We be struggling out here, especially among our communities. So any way that we can kind of firm up that foundation, so that we have to do, work smart, not hard. We got to look into it. We got to gain the confidence around it. So start with some of the workshops, reading some of the websites, watching K Business. How about that?
Execute, failure.
Oh, let me put your solo. Yes.
Success.
There it
See
is.
that?
There you go.
Execute.
Failure is temporary state.
Because it's going to happen. Exactly.
Most valuable lessons are learned. Success.
And it happened to me. It happened to me. Look at that. Work hard, focus, persist, practice, fail, succeed.
So it's always.
And most people don't put that in there. Most people do not put that fail in there. Yep, that fail part. You better tell them.
We try to avoid that fail part, but it goes with the territory. So even if you try this, guys, you might not get it. You're gonna cry. You're gonna say they don't want nobody like me. No. Even if you, especially if you don't see nobody like you, go for it.
Go for it, man.
That's when you know that's your lane. Oh, there's no one here. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and apply. Exactly. And let me get an interview. Yes, I'll kill it. Because those are the opportunities where people are looking around like everybody getting the same taxpayer dollars. You pay this, y'all. We pay this. Absolutely. And the government just redistributes it. And they're not calling it welfare, but some people call it, this is the corporate welfare. There's people eating off of our tax dollars every single day in millions of dollars in terms of quantities. So if we are not playing that game, we're only on the giving side. We're not getting any benefit from the distribution. So we got to look at it as kind of like our right. Our kids need to be starting, we got to really open this up.
Yeah, we got to
go. And I can't wait to have Intentional Millionaire coming up in the next couple of weeks as well to kind of continue this conversation. Go ahead, Kay.
Yeah, I just always, on my channel, I just continue to encourage people, go for it. Every day I try to look for different business grants. If you go to my channel now, you see I just posted one today, $25,000 grant for
grant me, you don't have to pay back.
Yeah, you don't have to pay back. Yeah. So I search for grants, and there's something called FedEx Business Competition. I always share that on my channel as well. I just try to share information to people so people can also utilize it and also win as well. I wasn't the smartest in school. Yeah. I just execute, just work hard.
Somebody opened up the door. Somebody let the light bulb on.
Correct.
And gave you that initial, you should be a government contractor. Yeah. You could procure
also
a government contract. Go ahead.
When I got into management and I started looking at the budget for my clients, and I'm seeing $500,000, $600,000 for one person to care for them. And I'm like, man, I'm in the wrong business. I need to also step my game up to go into other government contracts, which is ongoing contracts.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Multi-year.
Multi-year.
That's when you I can afford what now? Like your whole
my CEO.
Everything comes up. Now, granted, you're gonna save more. We're not gonna spend like we crazy. But yeah, it really kind of changes, it shifts you again into a true mindset, middle class mindset.
Yes. You got to
when we started thinking millions,
yeah,
and not in $10 and $20 and and we thinking thousands.
Yeah, And
and
I tell
hundreds of
people,
thousands.
I tell
Yeah,
people all the time, change the people around you. You have a whole bunch of
Change your
negative people
environment.
around you.
Yep.
You don't have to hang around these people. If it's just you by yourself, cool. But surround yourself with positive minded people who are going
absolutely.
to tell you when you're wrong, people who are going to make corrections. Have friends that talk business. I have a friend, we both married, but when we talk, we can have 2-hour conversations about business. I'll
About
tell him what
business.
I did. He'd be like, nah, dude, you did it wrong. You messed up. You shouldn't have done it that way. You know what I'm saying? So you need people that will hold you accountable, not people that are just going to tell you what you want to hear. So
Mm.
you have to change your mindset. You have to change your mindset.
I think
Got to
that's
change
such
your mindset.
great advice. Y'all, I hope y'all enjoying the conversation. If you are, hit the like button. Miss AKA Lady, I see you. So many in the chat. I'm here, enjoying the information like you guys. So sorry if I didn't put up all the comments and stuff, but I see you as best as I can because it's moving fast. But gotta keep motivated folks around. Absolutely.
Change your environment,
Absolutely.
or your
Um,
environment will change you.
Yes, I'm telling
Absolutely.
you.
Andrew says I emailed and signed up. Wow, he done he went to the website. What's good? For probably the pitch competition. I think probably when we're talking about the pitch competition.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I know where to go now. Thank
I'm not.
you.
Oh,
Andrew,
absolutely.
go
And
get it.
again,
Andrew, go get it.
yeah, no, Andrew not sleeping on information. We're gonna provide it. Guys, I'm gonna ask you for your final comments. Last call. Drop the link if you would, please, RM, one more time. Last call if you want to come up, Ask K Business Podcast. I really implore you, check out his YouTube page. A lot of what we're talking about, we've kind of
Subscribe.
opened it up, subscribe to him. We scratching the surface here, y'all, and he giving you the game for free. That is very rare. A lot of people, again, they slap. You got a consulting mindset. They would have been like, no. Buy my package. $2,000, $1,000 for what he's telling you for the free.
No.
So we got to honor
I
him
just,
at least.
I just can't charge someone that high
It
because
hurts me. It
I
hurts me.
know
That
that
was me
person need
initially.
$1,000 to even get the business started in the first place.
They could
And I'm
use
charging
it
them that $1,000. This person that's trying to work hard and trying to get a
save up
business started.
to start
Yeah,
the company, and then
you
you've
know,
charged them $1,000.
I
No.
had to. This one lady called me. She's like, "I would love to pay. I don't have any money." I said, "Ma'am, look, pay me what you think I'm valued at. If you don't want to pay me, fine, but I'm going to give you this information." And I showed her how to start a business in Maryland, got registered, did that, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes people will come to you and some people will take advantage of you. That's no
Oh, of
question.
course.
I'm ready for that.
Definitely.
But
There's
some
always going to
people,
be snakes. Always.
some people want help. And I try to give them information as much as I can. I try to do the best I can.
So if you guys are going to leave us, the panel is now closed, with any final thoughts. Biggest mistakes. Did you answer that question? Biggest mistakes people make?
Not paying your annual filing, not having business insurance.
Okay.
That's another one. Business insurance is going to cost you $30. General liability, it's not going to
Lawyers have to have it. I carry my
Yeah,
liability insurance.
use
Y'all ain't
Next
gonna sue
Day or
me.
use Hiscox. It's not much. You're not going to pay. Yeah, so.
Guys, I'm seeing some news come across. I think I'm just gonna come right back up and do another show real quick. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna let these gentlemen do final thoughts here. I'm seeing a lot of breaking news here, so I'm going to wrap this up. If you guys please, it's so much on my phone is blowing up, so it's like I can't ignore it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In my heart, I'm just like I gotta figure out if this is real. But I just want to keep the spirit, and if my spirit is kind of like shift, I'm gonna shift. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
y'all hold tight. I guess other channels must be also covering some of the breaking news. So I'm gonna allow you guys. I'm enjoying this conversation. We definitely gonna have a part 2, Kay, if you wouldn't mind.
Hey man,
But
Suzette,
I want to.
Of course.
Yeah.
When you asked me, you were like, "Do you have? Do I need some questions?" But I said, "Man, just go with the flow. Ask me anything. I know my stuff." You know
I was. Y'all say it in wealth engineering. Shout out to you and Intentional Millionaire. I was already asking him because you're the only person I didn't ask for an outline. So I asked Intentional Millionaire. He's not coming up till like the 16th, Monday after next, and he was like, "Dang, you lowering me up." I was like, "No, I need to know how to guide the conversation. That's all I'm doing to make sure."
I said, just go
He's
with
like,
the flow,
"Sis, I'm just playing with you." But yeah, when we started today, I was like, "Ooh, I ain't got no outline. We flowing
and
today."
guys, one thing about Miss Suzette, she's very professional, very detailed. So,
Very much
guys, you
so.
have a great content creator. We don't give a lot of content creators a lot of exposure. What people want to do on YouTube, I'm sorry to go off course.
No, go
They
ahead.
want to
You got
expose
time. Go
everybody. They
ahead.
want to expose everybody. How about you expose the people that are doing good content like her?
Real content.
Real content. Okay. I might
Thank you.
get
The brothers.
25 views. I'm cool with that. That's great. It's all,
Me too. Me
but
too.
some of these people are giving exposure to people they don't like. What about these people who are actually very professional? Like just from the start, from when she reached out to me to when she sent me an email, send me a picture, everything is done professional. This is so I'm just saying thank you very much and keep doing the great thing that you're doing.
I can say the same thing for you, my brother. Thank you for that high compliment. Sometimes you don't even want to accept it, but thank you. I appreciate that. And I felt the same way about you. Because I'm always now I have to be asking around what people think of people first. So we know who doing what work. So it is a pleasure. Like I said, I'm trying to connect. Same thing with Savior Black. I'm like, I don't know Savior Black, but a couple people was like, yo, check him out.
I'll
got
check him
something
out.
to say.
Yeah, you send me the link.
Yes, and then I paid it forward. I'm sending Savior Black on to other couple people. So we got to build a community. And sometimes you get disrupted, but it's okay.
Correct.
We still got a lot of people doing good work, wanting each other to succeed, cheering each other on. So I'm not going to try to, avoid or, lose that spirit because individualism, I don't believe in that. Right. So we all, and again, you got to put your work in, but we all push each other. And that way there are more of us at the top and that we're not like, looking around, look at me, all that. So yes, I hear you. I get on my soapbox too. That's okay. Let me see if there are any final questions. Yes, Andrew coming through. Hesitation plus contemplation equals frustration. That sounds like a preaching.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
That's
deep.
what I'm talking about.
That's deep, actually. Hesitation plus contemplation equals frustration for sure. Ace says, K was a great guest, very positive, man. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed Ace. Ace had a couple more questions in the chat, sis. I saw them, but I'm like trying to focus as well with all this going on in the background. But hey, thank you. Oh, Miss AKA lady, solid. Thank you. Guests are always helpful. Thank you, darling. Very sweet of you guys. Thank you for making my afternoon, my evening here. Appreciate y'all. But final thoughts from either of you, please. Go ahead, Bernard, and I'll let Kay get the last one.
Yeah, I will go first. I would like to thank you for the work you do. We have talked about that. So me and him have not even talked, but I said this, and I'm gonna say this to everybody in the camera. Appreciate your real content creator. She's a content creator. Reacting to something is not content. So we need to do and give her flowers while she's due. I don't have no problem with anybody in the chat doing that because we all show love to her. Please go to my man's channel K because I've already went there.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
Like I always said, and Suzette knows how to do. I'm a servant to everybody, and I'm a leader when I need to be.
Absolutely. I hear you, brother.
Bless.
Wealth Talk says, bro, how much I must see you? Bernard S. Great framework. Man, can't wait to start. Yes. And Bernard.
Suzette's going to do that.
Yeah, we're working on something. Maybe behind the scenes. Can I say it? Behind the scenes for looking like Patreon. Yes, Bernard. Yes. I'm excited. Yes. So to my Patreon members, we got something cooking for y'all. Okay. Appreciate you, Bernard. Always a pleasure. Thank you. So Kay, you have already given us so much value.
Yes.
Like I said, for me not knowing, I was like, I hope he got something to say because I usually ask, thanks for you the guest. How you giving the super stickers? Thank you. Thank you for supporting. You already gave me your time and your knowledge. Thanks. So we are just grateful. We call ourselves the speakers over here on Suzette Speaks, and it's just a beauty to share a space with another brother brothers who just want to help other people progress. That's what it's about. We sitting on information that people may not get exposed to their whole life. They done with school. They don't have the right, circles or whatever. Thank God for the internet. Because now you have a new circle. You can see into, wow, he sound like me. Regular dude. I'm out here just hustling. And I ran into this thing called government contracts. And now look at me. And now because I got one, I finally got the first one, let's do the second one.
Correct.
And now it becomes like a snowball. And we're
Correct.
not talking just small fries, y'all. We're talking big,
Big.
big. For
Yeah.
everything you do, for anything that can be done. Think about Disney World. What do they need done on Disney World properties? For any and everything that can be done, the government needs it done too.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to think about how we go. Y'all, thank you for the super chats. The Seattle Black veteran in the building. Another fantastic content creator, also paying it forward, helping veterans get their full earned benefits. Go see, that's why I know I gotta go. My throat is giving out. Go check. I did a lot of talking today.
My kids are trying to come in. I have 3.
Oh, you 3 kids? You got?
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, so we both gotta go.
I have a baby, so but the 2 are trying. They're like, is Daddy
like
done?
Daddy.
Is
It's
Daddy
done.
done?
Okay, Daddy's about done, guys. He's giving us a lot of time. I was about to say, shout out to Seattle Black veteran. Check out his channel. Always showing love. Appreciate you, brother. Doug on the super. Thank you so
That's my guy,
much.
Doug.
Appreciate it. As TLA would say, no comment, just love. I gotta rest my voice. I don't even know if I can go live again. I might make it short, but I need to make some tea, and then I'll see what it feel like. But you know, the ginger tea kind of loosen it, give you back some strength in your voice. But I've been talking literally all day. But Doug, thank you as always. Always been there. Great supporter. Appreciate you. Yes, I think that's the speakers. I think we did that after Maggie, the substitute teacher. So they was called the scholars. So then we became the speakers. I think it was just last week. Miss AKA Lady, you didn't miss it for no long time. Because before I was calling everybody the squad, but then I kind of like speakers. I forgot who suggested it. I don't even know who to give credit to that. What do y'all think? I love it. But it kind of goes with the Suzette Speaks, you know, kind of play on my last name. Yes. A says K is modest. He's a business leader. I will check out his channel. Please, everybody do so. For sure. No, you're not late, girl. But yes, okay. I'm gonna get hey, Mona, hey, the speakers, let's go. So yay, I'm glad everybody has participated, stuck around, enjoyed, and hopefully you got some value. So any final words of wisdom before you sign off, sir?
I want to shout out to Doug. He's one of my subscribers. Also, Well Talk Production. He was in here a few minutes ago. That's my little brother as well. So not my little brother, but my one of my subscribers as well. I just want to say, people, just stay focused on whatever you want to achieve. Write your goals down, have a plan, execute. You're gonna fail. It might happen, it might not, but and always look for successful opportunities. There's always opportunities for you to grow, even if it's in business or just in a career. There's always ways for you to improve your life. There's always ways for you to grow. So don't have a victim don't have a victim mindset. There's always information out there. There's somebody out there to always help you. So we all go through challenges. That's life. But today is today. Tomorrow is a new day. So start over tomorrow. So guys, just stay strong. All right. And I hope to see you guys on my channel.
My language. Y'all, I'm sorry if you just got here. Ebony, I see you. Ebony talking about, hey, we finish it up, Ebony. Go back and watch the replay. Anybody watching the replay, love to you as well for coming, supporting. Hit the like button, share, comment. After the video's over, go back and comment. That helps us in the algorithm. You see, thank you, RM. Thank you, Sunbreeze. Y'all been busy in the chat. You see where you can email K Business. And just like you said, I think what you just said summarized is be teachable. Be curious. Be curious and be teachable, right? The way you think things run, they don't run like that no more. So it's always a pleasure to have somebody enlighten us into a new aspect, into a new way of thinking, being, doing business. But it's been our pleasure. Thank you so much for watching. All of y'all who supported, thanks for the super chat. Our sponsor was Andrew. Shout out to Andrew Walker for sponsoring today's stream. Real quick, Kay, I'm going to drop you down. I'll just say thank you if you hold on in the back. Go support Kay one more time. Thank you, Kay Business Podcast. So much good information today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for being here. Real quick, y'all, before I sign off, and again, let me kind of verify some of the news that's coming out before I get back on and give me some tea and whatnot. But come check me out. I'm doing my first show on a show. Netflix's Ozark. Netflix Ozark is going to be my reaction-ish show. but still talking about what I learned from it. There's so many beautiful, well-written themes and characters in that show. So if you are an Ozark fan, Saturday is your show, Saturday at 12. Come see me Monday. Boss Attorney Bree, fantastic YouTuber, will be on. We're going to talk about male survivors of domestic violence. We don't talk about a lot the men's perspective when it comes to such a sensitive topic, but it is real. There are men that suffer just at the hands of their significant other. And we got to talk about it. We're going to obviously talk a little bit about it in the context of what we heard from both, Johnny Depp and his ex-wife, all of that. But shout out to Boss Attorney Bree. We got Intentional Millionaire coming up after that. And I feel like I am missing a couple of shows. So make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share. And always, I'm grateful for each and every one of you riding with me and supporting my content. I will see you guys back. I don't know if I'll go live again. My throat is now like, I got to do some repair, but hit the notification bell just in case. Okay. If not, I will see you Saturday. I'll see you Monday, Tuesday, 7 p.m. And this month is also mental health month. So I'm going to try to work that in. See if I can find a good mental health guest. That's where my root is of the personal development and personal growth, self-awareness that I like to do, as well as current events. So shout out to all you guys are watching, both on Facebook and here on YouTube. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye for now. All right. Thanks for watching.